Welcome to Muscle in the Morning, brought to you by IronMag Labs. Make your mark. I'm Dave Palumbo, and today is Wednesday, August 24th, 2016. And let's find out what's going on in the world of bodybuilding and fitness. After taking some time off to give his body some much-needed rest and relaxation, it looks like Big Keith Williams is ready to strap on his hard hat and get back to work. This week, new photos surfaced of a gigantic-looking Williams 9 days out from the Pittsburgh Pro, where he'll be hoping to right the ship and get things back on track. So far, we've already seen Williams compete twice this season at the New York and California Pro shows, but for one reason or another, he just hasn't quite been able to dial in the necessary level of conditioning to ever really put himself into contention. At 260 plus pounds on stage, Williams has more than enough muscle to hold his own in most lineups. And once he can figure out the right formula to come in shredded beyond a reasonable doubt, we'll start to see him creep back up into the placings once again. I'm not sure what they've got in the water down there in Florida, but I'll take some of whatever Ben Pakulski is drinking. After starting his year off in impressive fashion with a 4th place finish at the Toronto Pro, Pakulski went back to the lab, reformulated his game plan, and it paid off big time in the form of his first career victory a few weeks later at the Vancouver Pro. But since the big win, Pakulski has been on a mission to deliver his best overall look yet to this year's Olympia. And I'd say that so far he seems to be doing a really good job. In his last Olympia appearance back in 2011, we saw a smaller Pakulski manage to pull off an 11th place finish. And given all the improvements that he's made over the last 5 years, a top 10 finish is a very real possibility this year. Over the last few years, we've seen some high-level talent emerge from the welterweight division at the national level and go on to have great success in the 212 and classic physique divisions at the pro level. And with the MPC Nationals still looming off in the distance, it might not be a bad idea to put some early money down on species nutrition athlete Dominic Mutascio as the early favorite. After an agonizingly close 2nd place finish at the NPC USA earlier this year, Mutascio has been in the gym training like a man possessed, packing on all sorts of new muscle on his warpath to redemption. From a conditioning standpoint, Mutascio never shows up looking anything less than spectacular. And when you start to factor in all of those improvements along with the fact that he's going to be in there with something to prove, everyone else in the welterweight division better start waking up and eating their Wheaties, because they're going to need all that and then some to stand in there and trade shots with this guy. Speaking of athletes on a warpath, I'm not sure if there's anyone heading into the 212 Olympia right now with a more fully stocked arsenal than Charles Dixon. The tank was spotted pulling double duty this past weekend, grinding out some seriously intense training sessions as he enters into the final phase of his Olympia prep. Despite not competing since the Arnold Classic, Dixon still looks like he's in mid-season form, peaking at just the right time and bringing in what might be his best overall look yet. Last year, a much-improved Dixon ended up finishing 10th, despite not being at his all-time best. But if he can manage to hit one out of the park this time around, he could easily snag a top 5 finish at this year's 212 Olympia. Fouad Abiad's offseason looks like it's getting off on the right foot. This week, new photos surfaced of the big hoss looking every bit of 270 pounds and quite a bit leaner than we've seen from him in years past. Despite only competing once this season at the Toronto Pro, the little that we did see of Abiad was pretty darn impressive. Over the last 2 to 3 years, Fouad has really seemed to have found his stride. And nearly a decade into his pro career, he still continues to find ways to improve and add new elements to his game. Now that he's taking some extended time off to sit back and refocus on letting his body recover and grow, you can only imagine what sort of new wrinkles he's going to roll out when he makes his return sometime next season. And you can be certain that when he does, he'll be back bigger and better than ever before. And that does it for yet another edition of Muscle in the Morning, brought to you by IronMag Labs. Make your mark. Check out IronMagLabs.com today. I'm Dave Palumbo, reminding you to always be true to your passions, and make sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Hey guys, it's Stevie B here. If you like what you're seeing, hit the subscribe button below and never miss another RX Muscle show, segment, or update. RX Muscle is #1. Woo!